Αν δείτε κάτω πάντως και πείτε ναυτικό, προσπαθήστε να πάτε στο γραφείο μελετών στον Άμστερνταμ. Θα είναι καλή εμπειρία για σας. Θα δείτε πολλά πράγματα. Έχουμε δυστυχώς παλιά καράβια. Κάνουμε πατέντες για να τα κρατήσουμε σε ζωή.
Ναι,
και
αυτό μου λέγανε για τα παιδιά που
και είναι καλό σχόλιο αυτό για μηχανικούς και ναυτικούς. Δηλαδή,
πρέπει και προϋπηρεσία, έτσι, το γράφεις.
Νομίζω ναι, νομίζω πρέπει και προϋπηρεσία. Γράφεις και προϋπηρεσία.
Τότε ήταν ένα χρόνο.
Ναι.
Και έχω 5,5 μήνες, αλλά δεν έλεγα να πάρω μισό.
Μας βλέπουν και οι φίλοι μας από την Ιταλία.
Ναι.
Ωραία. Τι να πούμε, έτσι. In order to pinpoint the important matters, I want to remind that techniques and the techniques followed in details is something very very important. It's crucial, I should say. When we have a fire incident, steps. First of all, George told earlier, first of all, raise the alarm. One is no one. If somebody else gets aware of the problem, then he will inform the general announcement system of the ship, and the two persons together will be the first reaction team, the first team. They have no many abilities. They have just their working uniform, gloves, anti-flash gloves and hood, but they will try to keep intact what is intact. They will try to keep the fire within the limits they found it. Here we have, these are the anti-flash gloves. You see they are long enough, and the hood must be worn inside the shirt. So no part of the body must be exposed to the heat, to the fire, to the smoke. Of course, it's not something that will allow you to stay for a long time inside the compartment, that there will be smoke. It's obvious that you will have problem with your respiratory system. It filters, the hood filters a while the smoke, but it's not a panacea, as we say. And so the first reaction team is dressed like that, and we'll try to keep the incident in this part of the graph. We'll try to stop the evolution of the graph. We'll try to stop the evolution of the graph here. So we have a small amount of fire. In 2 minutes time, the second team, what does the second team has as a protective equipment and gear? Remember? Yes,
The gloves and
they have the anti-flash gloves and the hood, like the first team, but additionally they have some more that allow them to stay in the area. A breathing apparatus. I'm talking like Darth Vader in order to memorize that. The breathing apparatus, yes, they can stay inside. They have no problem to, let's say it in other words, the only problem they have is the heat. The smoke is no more a problem. The heat. So they get inside wearing the breathing apparatus, and what we have with them, a moment, a fire extinguisher. You can find, we will borrow that for a while, you can find a fire extinguisher in every corner of the building, of the compartment, of the corridors of the ship. In every corner there is one. So they get inside and they try to put out the fire. If the volume, let's say that the volume of the fire is small, they can do it with 1, 2, 4 fire extinguishers. Before showing you, I will show you the way that we approach the fire with the fire extinguisher. But if the amount of fire is big enough, maybe the fire extinguishers are not sufficient. So they will take a firefighting hose from an adjacent place and they will try to keep the fire in that place. They will not allow the fire to expand. So they have extinguishers or firefighting hose. The second thing. I want you to give me some piece of advice, or let's vote. Let's vote. I will do some scenarios, and you will vote which one is the correct one. So we have a fire there. George has raised the alarm. He has done whatever it was possible for him and the other one, another one that got aware of the situation, and there's smoke inside, and they leave. Just in that time, me and another one, two persons of the second team arrive, carrying fire extinguishers. Completely wrong, said George. I thought you was my friend. Why? Explain me.
Because having clear in a situation, you run through the
I'm
fire.
rushing in.
Yes, directly, without seeing what's the other problem.
Without estimating the situation. And estimating the situation means not only the amount of fire, but also, and this is more serious, the kind of fire. If that was a galley, here the place was a galley, and I was running in with a water fire extinguisher, you know, I would expand the fire. Yes, I would expand the fire. So the right, or another example. If there was an electrical fire, electrical circuits and cables, and that was a foam extinguisher for liquid substance fires. Foam is for liquid substance fires. It is written here. If I was using in an electrical fire a foam extinguisher, maybe I would create more short circuits, more problems. I must use a Cell2 and fire extinguisher, a carbon dioxide. So if here the laptop was on fire, the right thing to do was get in, lower myself for two reasons. The one is smoke and heat. Tell me the other one. Balance. For all balance, the balance of the silver on the city. Alright. I don't take my eyes off the exact point of the incident. I'm closing, I'm closing, and I use the fire extinguisher as possible, as close to the heart of the fire. And if I see that it goes down, I raise one step forward, down, and I continue. This is the right thing, the right technique. All right. By the way, this is a carbon dioxide.
We should be very careful when using this type of extinguisher.
Yes, because
it's very cold and
it can produce what burns from cold. It's something it's opposite, but it happens. Yes. Let me put it back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And finally, we have the third team, which are like the knights of the apocalypse. I mean, they wear helmets, they are fully dressed, they have 5 minutes to get on site, 5 minutes more time, because they have to put on fire retardant uniforms, they have to put on firefighter boots, helmet, breathing apparatus in the camp. They must be, if the third party gets on site, means that the first two parties, the first two teams, did not succeed to put off the fire. They have just kept it on the specific phase. This is the best scenario. So the third team is ready. Remember that they have 5 seconds and they are 5 persons. We made the simulation earlier. Water wall, firefighting hose, half a step ahead the water wall in order to protect. So they get in and they take some piece of information from the 2 persons of the second. They get the second team gets out, gives them information about where is the fire, what kind of fire is, electrical fire, liquid substance fire, solid substance fire, more easy, chemical fire, and they get inside with the 2 hoses, water wall and the firefighting hose, under the coordination of the chief of the team, and they approach the fire the way we showed later, earlier, again, again, and they try to extinguish totally the fire. So we call the third team the re-entry team. Why?
Could you following the same procedure with the second team? That's their if.
They follow, yes, of course, but something that is different is that All right, maybe different, but all right. The first team, they get uh, aware of the incident, they raise alarm, and the second person that comes, they try to keep the fire there. All right. The second, they have the door open. The second team is the one that come to support. In 2 minutes time, the door is open, and without respiratory problems, they get in and try to put out the fire. Put out the fire. And the third team, maybe if the whole compartment is set on fire, maybe the second team will be, they are protected, the second team are protected only from smoke, not by the heat. If the heat is too much, what they will do? Evacuate, yes. And which way we said they will evacuate? Louder, please. Yes, they will take the evacuation route, but they will not forget to shut the door in order to maintain whatever remains intact. So the third party, the third team, mainly is the re-entry team. They have, as we showed earlier, they have to approach a closed door. They don't know what happens on the other side. They have to place the water wall nozzle close to the perimeter, open for a while, for a little angle from the door, use the water wall to prevent the smoke and the heat to come on the other compartments, then open the door, and then as a team, as a solid team, re-enter the burning space. That's why they call them also the re-entry party, the re-entry team. We have the rest of the teams. It's the on-scene chief and the support teams. On-scene chief is somebody who is experienced on board the ship. He's experienced. He knows the geometry of the ship. He knows personnel, what he can ask from each one. He knows well the organization of the firefighting party, and he coordinates the support teams. He coordinates the support teams. He tells them, oh, we have a big fire there. So he gets the information. Have we got anyone wounded? No, all right. So we don't need medical support. The two persons of the medical support take a bucket of water with a sponge and go to make boundary cooling. Cool the adjacent bulkheads. Or we have a major fire, so go and prepare another team that in half an hour will replace the third team. He's an officer or anyway somebody who's experienced in firefighting. After the fire is put out, we have to check for explosive gases. Maybe the burning sometimes substance creates carbon gases that are flammable, or even poisons, maybe poisonous. And they under the orders the on-scene chief, they start some ventilation. They energize some ventilation ducts in order to take the smoke out of the ship, not in other compartments, out of the ship. They open specific valves and close other specific valves on the ventilation system in order to lead the smoke out of the ship. And at last is the team for restoring the compartments. I mean, if half of the curtain is burned, this is possible for the source for repairs. So take it off. If some chairs, for example, are you don't they are burning, but you don't see flame, have some liquid smoke, they take them off to a secure place. They don't leave it here because maybe there will be a burst of the fire. And let's go to the other major problem in grass water. I told you during the break that when I was practicing this training on the simulator, you can see, we have put on the lights, you can see here some plugs, conical plugs on the bulkhead in order to stop incoming water. The major problem that did not cross my mind at the beginning was cold. The water is at the temperature of the sea, 14 degrees Celsius. After 20 minutes, you cannot control easily your fingers. You start trembling. And this is from the Royal Navy simulator. Another problem, not so agile, is that when the level of the water rises, things start to float, to lose their weight. So if there is a rolling, the ship is in a rolling motion on the sea, you will go more easily than being on solid deck. This is something not so difficult than the cold, because with the cold you have 20 minutes, no more. Trust me. That's why you always work in teams. You always work in teams. I told you earlier that damage control is teamwork. Teamwork. You always work with another one, not on your own. And there are some techniques. There are some techniques in flooding fighting that you have to seal some raptors that are on the deck, and the water level is this high. So I want a volunteer again. I take the conical plugs, all right, and or maybe it's not a conical, it's a linear plug, and we come together with Sotiris, and I tell him you count until 15. So because of the fact that the water is here, we are about to float, both of us. So he grabs me, yes, both hands, please, yes, and he pushes me down. And he counts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, until 15. And I get under the water and try to seal the rapture. Counts until 15, as I told you. If I was Umberto Pellizzari, he would count until 240, 380, Alright, but I'm not Umberto Pellizzari. Ναι, η πλευστότητά του μειώνεται.
Okay.
Έτσι. Εσύ θέλεις, επειδή θα πεις όλους στο νερό, αρχή του Αρχιμίδη, τα ξέρουμε, εσύ θέλεις να είσαι κάτω, σταθερός, για να μπορέσεις να βάλεις τα δάχτυλά σου, δεν έχεις και ρεύμα, διαρροή, όχι. Αν έχεις ρεύμα, πρόβλημα. Είναι μέρα παντού.
Okay.
Alright. So, the one, always teamwork, two persons, the one that has to dive, to submerge, in order to fix the rupture on the deck, on the floor, has to be pushed by the other one. And there's an arrangement that you count until 15, 20, 50, however I can stand. Alright. So, steps in flooding. It's quite similar. First of all, raise the alarm. I say it again. One is no one. Raise the alarm. Another person must understand that we have a problem, and he will call the officer of the watch, the headquarters, whatever. He will make it. He will take the general announcement system, and he will shout, "We have flooding in compartment 1 dash M dash 3." First reaction from the one that got aware of the situation. That means maybe the first reaction is just to shut some valves that are passing from this compartment in order to avoid transfer of liquid, of water, to another compartment. Maybe this is the first reaction while the water rises. Keep in mind that maybe, I told you at the beginning, maybe flooding is not only water. Maybe you have a rupture, if you have a grounding, you have a rupture on the hull and in some fuel tanks. So they will be mixed water and petroleum or lubricant oil. That's quite different, more difficult. But the techniques that you have to follow is the same. Keep the existing watertight integrity. That means seal all the other compartments in the perimeter in order to avoid rising of the surface in these compartments. I remind you, keep what the motto in the damage control, keep whatever you have intact, first of all, and then you will try to fix the problem. In-rush prevention team prepared and quickly getting into action. It's not the same here. This is the graph for the fire. We'll use right green color now. For the flooding, it's more linear. Maybe we have some variations here, maybe put like that, or maybe after some time goes like that, but it's almost linear graph. Right. This is time again. And this is volume flooded. All right, volume flooded and time. So it's a little more easy. It's a little more easy. But if you keep in mind what I told you earlier, from here, 20 minutes approximately. Then you are frozen. And I have an experience about that. We will see later the elephant leg, we call it, a pillar that is adjustable in length, and you use it to seal the floor, all right, to support the two decks. And when we were in the Royal Navy simulator, after 20 minutes, our fingers were frozen, and we tried more than 20 times to adjust, to put the pin in order to fix the length of the elephant. It was very difficult. So again here we have uh, a fight with the time. We have to act continuously and aggressively. Continuously and aggressively. We have also the on-scene chief and the support teams. If there is somebody wounded, we will not let him drone. We have to take equilibrium. That means obtain to close some holes so that the water that comes in to be equal with the water that adductors, portable pumps, and other equipment can take off the sea. So this is something vital to obtain the equilibrium. The water that comes in to be the same amount than the water that we have the ability with technical means, adductors, portable pumps, installed pumps to take out of the ship. If we obtain this equilibrium, then maybe we are good. Maybe we are good. After that, if for example, we obtain the equilibrium here, then maybe the graph will not continue upwards. The most reasonable that is that we will succeed to take the opposite direction and save the ship. After the water in rush is stopped, we have to drain the water or other liquids, fuel, nucleation oil, so on. Take that off. And then the final step is the team for restoring the affected compartment in order to obtain watertight integrity. I showed you earlier here we are. So this is very good. This is something that we have to do immediately in order to stop the big quantity of the water coming in. I don't have.
Yes, we'll.
We smack it for no. Okay. So this is good in order to obtain the equilibrium. When we obtain the equilibrium, then maybe a good idea is to put on that some cement in order to seal it at all. And then we will have the time to get back to the shipyard and repair the whole part of the bulkhead, replace it. All right. All right. And team for restoring the affected compartments watertight integrity. So we will make again, this team, we will make again the compartment dry. What do we have here? What can you see in this picture as they were telling us when we were learning English? What can you see in this picture?
The elephants.
No, this is not the elephant. Yes. It is wooden pillars that we have a show, and we sometimes in the warships we have we have prepared the length of the wooden pillars. So we had some supposing this was the hull, we have some and we have from some bullets or fragments. We have holes in the hull and there's water coming in. We use this geometry in order to support with pressure the wounds, the holes, and stop the water coming in. All right. If you can see, we have some surface, free surface here. You are naval architect, so you are familiar with the term free surface. This is a problem also. If there is a roll on the ship and you are trying to stop a flooding and there is a big compartment, we have free surface effect. And one moment you are blue, the water is here, and the others. So that's why another reason why we work in teams. You have to coordinate. You have to coordinate actions with someone else in order to be more effective. I mean, it's when the water is above your head, maybe you should just hold your breath. But when, after 5 seconds, we have the roll motion of the ship and the water goes on the other side and it's just here, both of you can try to put and hammer a plug. It's not a very good picture, but this is the foot of the elephant. Yes, it is adjustable, and you always use wooden pieces in order to ask pressure. I mean, as you can see, there's a pin here. There's a pin. You adjust if if the ceiling is like this. You adjust the length of the metal bar, and then you have to put some wedges and hammer them in order to apply pressure. Either you have to seal a hatch that's on the floor, you have to apply pressure in order to stop the water coming in. Or maybe there's another thing that the support teams do. Support teams, if the water flood, the flooding is on an upper compartment, you have to support the metal structure from below until you dry. So maybe a support team will go on the lower compartment, and we use such devices in order to support the ceiling of the lower compartment. What is this? Plugs and racks. Clothes, pillows, jackets, whatever you have, you press them into the hole in order to stop the big quantity of water coming in order to obtain the equilibrium. After you obtain the equilibrium, you can drain the water, you can take off your coat and wear it and put some cement there. You have the way back. But the essential is to obtain the equilibrium. Here, I told you before about the straw couplings. Here you can see one. It is a pipe that's broken from a fragment or something, and this piece is a straw coupling with screws that hugs the pipeline, and you screw it in order to seal the pipeline, to stop the leakage. Right. And you know, sometimes it's more easy if you have a big rupture, rupture on the bulkhead, and there's some water coming in, and you have also some pipes that are leaking. Maybe it's better to put something very quickly and in a rush to put it on the big hole in order to lower the quantity of the water coming in and take care then of these leakages that are more easily controlled with straw coupling, with clouds, and so on. And maybe here there are straw couplings for oil pipes, for fuel pipes. It's not; they are not used all for all kinds of pipes. Flooding in rush water. I told you before, cold is the main problem. And if you don't have a waterproof shoe, the Royal Navy has one, you don't take off your coat, your jacket, get into the water with whatever you wear in order to keep your thermal insulation as possible as it is. If you have a dry suit, of course, take 1 minute to put it on before you jump into the water. We said that damage control was from the first pictures. Damage control is still important. Now I want to simulate the team, and I want, of course, 2 volunteers. Alex and George. All right, that's good. All right. Let's make a scenario that there is a fire there, and you are the firefighter, and you are the water wall operator. You have the water wall, and I am the chief of the team, of the attack team. All right. All right, take positions, please. Yes. Oh. You must be
A bit,
half a step below, and always the water wall operator half a step ahead. So I am here.
Yes.
All right. Oh my God! Oh my God! Watch yourself.
I think you look at you behind. So
You just when I started shouting, you
I lose my.
instinctively took off your sight from the problem and
Yes.
came to me. That's the first step to have injuries. Thank you very much, guys. That's the first. It's human. If you see someone of your team within your team to be shouting and looking like insane, you will forget the problem and you try to help it. It's human. It's human emotion. So this is the first step to disassemble the team. And you know, panic is transmitted. We've seen that in playgrounds. We had accidents. They tried to evacuate, and we had in Mecca. It happened also that 2 months ago, we had more than 700 deaths. They were crushed. The one was stepping in on the other. And emergency situations always make humans react irrationally. You don't follow the techniques, you follow your emotion. When you are in an emergency, you don't follow the things, you follow your emotion. Taking the team, what you just saw, stop looking the problem and looking back what happens to the colleague is the catastrophe, is the beginning of the catastrophe. So protection of ourselves in damage control is major priority, because if you cannot protect yourself, you cannot protect the team and the city. So keep calm. Wear all the adequate protection gear. So we have, this is an order in our warships. We have always with us, that's why we have large pockets in our trousers. We have always the anti-plus gloves and the anti-plus hood. Always. You bear them with you, wherever you go. Even in the mess room, even in the where you have to be on watch, everywhere. Keep always an eye on the incident. Try to avoid what we just saw. Take off your attention from the problem and look something else. And cover your teammate. Try to cover your teammate. That's why in the third party, the re-entry party, there are two persons that seems to do nothing. They support, the one supports the hoses, and the other one shuts off and opens the fire, the water on the hoses. They support the attack team. It's not, we have, although that all the morning was cloudy, now we have sunshine. Anyway, it's not very clear here, but this is a water wall. And you could see that it's a wide angle. Maybe it's better here. We use the water wall on a hatch to send the team on the below deck, on the deck below. You can see that this water wall keeps the smoke and the heat that it's a principle of the physics that will go upward. They keep them down. They don't let them pollute the upper compartment. This is from a drill in the simulator firefighting training unit of the Hellenic Navy. By the way, in the Hellenic Navy Damage Control School, we are having an initiative. A colleague of mine who is on his PhD is trying to make some research about the stress conditions on the crew and how we can make the firefighting teams feel less stress. This is an initiative that is underway, by the way. Always the water will half a step ahead. And this is more detailed. You can see, you can distinguish the water wall and the firefighting beam of water is below. You cannot see the nozzle of the firefighter. You can see only the water wall nozzle here. So it's obvious that the firefighter is half a step below. How much time do we have, George?
Up to 5 minutes, half an hour.
All right. That's very good. This is an emergency escape breathing device. This is a hood that if the one person that has to raise the alarm, if the situation is very difficult, he has just to grab an EVD, emergency escape breathing device, put it on, and escape without forgetting to shut the door. Without forgetting to shut the door behind. I told you before, and I will repeat it. I will become stubborn. I follow the techniques, and this is an emergency escape breathing device. This is not a breathing apparatus, BA. So we don't use this device to grab firefighting hose or a fire extinguisher and get in to put off the fire, to put out the fire. We don't mix the techniques. This is just for escape. You take it from the shelf, you wear it, it produces oxygen, and you just evacuate without forgetting to shut the door. All right. It's very essential to know how to handle it. I mean, drills are made for this reason. First of all, you see here the naval cadets that they are taking the theoretical part of the lesson. All right, there's nothing more efficient than giving to the trainee the object and let him work with it. He will not break it. All right, and if 1% break it, it's upon the play, upon the know how to handle the equipment, get familiar with the equipment, the breathing apparatus. I will tell you an incident, a colleague of mine, when we were naval cadets, we were all the time we were making drills. Where are the breathing apparatus? Take off the breathing apparatus. run with the breathing apparatus and so on. And in a real fire, colleague of mine, he put on the breathing apparatus twice, wrongly. And the third time, because of the panic. And the third time, he put it on correctly in order to get down to the engine room. We were very experienced, but 2 times he put it on in a rush, he put it on wrongly. Breathing apparatus. Here's it's something vital for you, for your protection. You are not only if you are Umberto Pellizzari, you can hold your breath and get in, which is not following the technique. It's wrong. But you must wear, if you are on the second team or in the third team, you have to wear the breathing apparatus and you have to wear it correctly. So you seal it on your face, because if you have smoke getting in, problem. You will feel unconscious, you will fall down, and then we will have what we saw here. The rest of the team will let the fire rage and will start to try to save you. Examining each situation as an individual situation, and for the third part, you see them, they are the third part, they have all the uniform. You can distinguish that. They wear helmet, breathing apparatus, fire retardant uniform, firefighter boots, and before they enter the site of the situation, of the incident, they have a little briefing. What kind of fire we have, what kind of fire, what is burning, how big is the fire, and other details that are crucial. I mean, the second thing that we get out, we don't have one window. We have one window. Or the third step is missing. The third, they call it correctly step. But the third step in the ladder is missing. Take care. Not more than 1 minute. Intense training. There is a British old saying that says, practice makes perfect. Practice makes perfect. So, we must conduct firefighting drills. We must conduct in-rush water drills regularly. But simulators are the best way of training because they have realism. In the Hellenic Navy firefighting training unit, you get inside and you have 200 degrees Celsius around you. If you are not dressed well, you don't wear your gloves covering all your hands, you put on correctly the anti-flash hood, etc. You are in an environment of 200 Celsius. You will have problem. The simulators are safe. I mean, it's not a real situation, so you always have the red button. You pause it and everything stops. So there is no danger for the personnel. And also you have the ability to repeat the techniques and make them familiar, become a habit. If you, we made together some simulations, and I think there were a good chance. Huh? You can do it in the simulator and explain the trainee this was wrong because of this reason, or this was well done, bravo. But take into consideration that training is something that uh, you must achieve the golden edge. You have find the right uh, relations between in, intense training and whatever becomes boring. I mean, if you flog it to death, training every day, fire drilling every day, then the crew will become boring. They will stop thinking of techniques. Maybe they will get so familiar that they will do some things as a habit, but you have you have to have clear mind when you have to face situations like fire or flooding. All right. So then intense training, but not every day. You have to figure it out how much training can be acceptable from the crew. And I think it's time to explain you, to tell you some lessons learned from real incidents. They are real incidents. I cannot tell you the name of the ships that happened these on which happened these things. Once there was a fire, a small fire in a storage place. There were they were welding, they were making works in the adjacent compartment, and some boxes were touching the bulkhead. So the boxes were set on fire, and fortunately there were two persons, the one that saw the incident and another one who was the damage control chief petty officer on board the ship. And they raised the alarm, but they were the first team. These two guys, they're good guys. They they were the first attack team, so they get immediately into the space. They took off some of the boxes. They made some space from the bulkhead, and they used fire extinguishers and one fire hose, not with not with they didn't open the hose and let the water run. They do this control under control, and they were well trained. They took extinguishers from the adjacent places. They removed the boxes from the bulkhead, and they did not, after the fire was put out, they did not energize the ventilation system until they double checked that there was no chance for the burst. They, after they did the initial actions, the second team came with breathing apparatus. They told them, don't switch on the ventilation, get down with the breathing apparatus, spend some time, make sure that we will not have a burst of the fire, and then they removed half burned items, and after some time they put on the switch on the ventilation system. That was a difficult situation. A fuel oil line failed, and a small leakage sprayed because it was tiny, the hole was tiny, and the pressure in it was a diesel generator set. The fuel from the diesel pipeline was sprayed on the exhaust of diesel engine. So if we have, if we have a, I'll tell you the opposite side. If we have a bucket of oil, of fuel oil, and we put inside a cigarette, nothing happens. But if we have a cigarette and we spray small particles of petroleum, of fuel oil, it will blast. It will blast. So the pipeline failed, and the spray on the exhaust gas start the fire. On the announcement, and this is very, very important, the first person who understood the situation did not announce. He saw smoke. Was on the upper deck, and he saw smoke. Smoke getting out of a hatch. He didn't announce, I have seen smoke. But I have seen fire on this hatch. But the real incident was in the forward compartment. The smoke was drifting and was coming out from another hatch, an adjacent hatch. So the firefighting team, the re-entry team, started to make the entry procedure on the next on the compartment that was a little aft from the incident. So they got in, they were looking, they were sensing the smoke, but they had not realized, they were confused because of the first announcement, the first wrong announcement. Where exactly is the fire? So they spent a lot of time, because I told you the time in the fire is something very critical. It's another kind of graph here. I spent this time, the re-entry part, without understanding where on hell is the fire. So, when they entered the room, the compartment, in time T1, the amount of fire was about that. There was not many things to do. They shut the compartment and they rearranged a new re-entry part. So they replaced the re-entry team. It was a great loss of time, and the whole diesel generator room was destroyed. Two diesel engines and two generators, and all the cabling. Another lesson, but you from bad situations you learn some things. Was in a small boat, small craft, small ship, a small ship. They were welding something in the engine room, and that was in some adjacent to some empty fuel oil tanks. Fuel oil tanks were not, no, the fuel oil tanks were clear, they were clean, but the pipeline with the connecting valves was not clean. So we had a small fire in a space that was sealed in some way, but the safety watch was not vigilant. They were not looking, they were talking in the telephone. So when they, after a while, they understood that something happens, they fear, the watch, the safety watch feared, and they did not do what says the motto, continuously and aggressive attack. So some time was also wasted, and when the re-entry team got in, it was a little too late. They tried their best, but the whole engine room was destroyed, and an R was destroyed. Changed place. All right. I will. I will terminate this speech with something about training carrots, and then I will be waiting for your questions or some talking. If the crew is well trained in these situations, damage control situations, well trained, that means use of simulators, and of course we have the adequate stamina because it's a very tough job. In the simulator we have, I told you, 200 degrees Celsius. In a real fire, we have twice or 3 times, or more than 3 times. If the temperature in the compartment is more than 400, you cannot reach. You cannot reach the area. That's for sure. But if you have some good stamina, I had a chief, a petty officer, who was very fat and he could not wear the protective uniform, the fire retardant uniform. He was he was inhaling and exhaling, and half of the bottle of the respiratory apparatus, of the breathing apparatus, was empty. So if we have some good stamina and you are well trained, then the only thing to fear is fear itself, psychology of the team. And all right, something that is about to come. IFX is a new portable equipment for high fog. It is, you could say it is a gun. It has 2 pipelines, one with supply water and one with air pressure of 25 bars. And you load it like you use a handle to load it, takes 1.5 kilos of water, and when you press the trigger, it bursts with particles of 200 microns in diameter with a very high speed, and it has a range of 10 meters, and it is very efficient on the front of the fire. It suppresses the fire. You can reload in 3 seconds with this handle. You reload, you fill it again with water, and you just press the trigger again, and you have another attack. Every 3 seconds, you can attack again the fire. And it is suitable also for electrical kind of fires. It does not, because of the fact that the particle is very teeny, very tiny, you don't have problem with short circuits and so on. This is something that is used in submarines. That submarines are an electric boat. And you need only one person to carry it. And something new is gas generators for spaces on the hull that can, when you energize the gas generator, it's something with not gunpowder, something chemical powder that produces a lot of gas and prevents the inrush water for a while until it creates a pressure inside the compartment, so you can take some initial actions more easily. These are the gas generators. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I'm looking forward to listen to your questions and to speak about damage control if you want.
Very clear.
Okay, thank you very much again.
The techniques.
Thank you. Let me ask if distant learners have any.
Of course. I think we were on time.
Okay, that's great. No questions. So, thank you very much.
You can take the PowerPoint.
Okay. So, thanks for attending this course. And
It was a pleasure for me, a pleasure for me. And if you come to Greece sometime, there was έγινε στο Ελλήνη μια παρουσίαση για το δοσημική